Welcome to your daily prescription. Today's dose is stop. Yes, stop. In the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 14, King Solomon gives us some instruction or some wisdom. He says, in the day of prosperity, celebrate, but in the day of adversity, stop and consider your ways. Let me say that again. In the day of prosperity, in other words, when things are good, in good times, celebrate. But in the day of adversity, in times of trouble, in times of difficulty, stop and consider your ways. In other words, in the day of a wedding, celebrate. But in the day of divorce, stop and consider your ways. If you are going to the gym hoping that you are going to lose weight, but the opposite happens, stop and consider your ways. If you are dressing up hoping to be warm, but you are feeling cold, stop and consider your habits. If you are earning some salary, but it looks like it is getting into a bag full of holes, stop and consider your ways. This is important because if you have gone through a rough patch in your life, you have gone through a difficulty, something has shaken in your life, like you were driving through a pothole and one of your tires got deflated. Before you proceed, stop and recalibrate. Maybe a part of your life, it could be on the emotional side or spiritual side or physical side, health-wise, financial or otherwise. You might have a deflation. Before you continue, stop and reset. Stop and recalibrate. Stop and consider your ways. Now, how do you know it is time to stop? I want to suggest 4 things which are indicators that you must stop. They are actually in the word stop itself. S stands for said. You know you must stop when you are said. Whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in an adventure, or it's in a project, you know you must stop when you are said. You really were not designed to live your life sadly, being sad, being angry. No. When you feel sad, especially in a relationship, stop and consider your ways. But you also know you must stop. The letter T stands for tired. You know you must stop when you are tired. You know what? When you are exhausted, when this relationship is making you feel tired emotionally and otherwise, when this project, whether you're a pastor, whether you're a leader, whatever you are doing, if you are tired, stop and consider your ways. The third indicator is being overwhelmed. The letter O in the word stop, it stands for overwhelmed. You know you must stop when you are overwhelmed. In other words, this thing is a burden to you. Leadership is not supposed to be a burden. A relationship is not supposed to be a burden. Life is not supposed to be a burden. The Bible says, the blessing of the Lord makes us rich, and it adds no sorrow with it. It's not supposed to be a burden. Don't be overwhelmed. If you feel overwhelmed, it's time to stop. And finally, the letter P stands for perplexed. You know you must stop when you are perplexed. In other words, when you feel confused by what you are doing. Serving God, being in a relationship, being in a project, being a leader or whatever it is, it must not confuse you. When you feel confused, you know it is time to stop. Until next time, remember, you too can succeed.